I say in other news at this hour, on a somber note, President Cyril Ramaphosa has placed the strength of South Africa's democracy in founding anti-apartheid activists such as Aziz Pahad. Ramaphosa delivered the eulogy at the special official Category 2 funeral at the Westpark Cemetery in Johannesburg, Gauteng, where the departure of the struggle stalwarts amid challenging times took center stage. Pahad passed away at the age of 82, just a few months after his brother and fellow anti-apartheid activist Aziz Pahad. Aziz Pahad was remembered for his key role in the liberation movement, the anti-apartheid movement in Europe, the United Kingdom, and many more. The loved ones of Aziz Pahad said that in his departure, he was not happy about the current state of the nation.
He was an activist who played a formative role as we had in our liberation movement in exile in the 1960s and beyond, and was a key figure in the anti-apartheid movement in Europe and in the United Kingdom. He was one of the leading figures of the liberation movement who facilitated talks between the exiled ANC and representatives of the Afrikaner community in the mid-80s, yes, working with Comrade Thabo Mbeki and many others. He was a hard-working and fiercely patriotic public servant, most notably as the long-serving Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, a position as he held from when we attained our democracy in 1994 until 2008. It is this role for which the South African people know Comrade Aziz best. He was a prominent voice in the foreign affairs space, an astute diplomat, a legendary networker, and for the many who worked with him, a warm and affable comrade. We've heard how through his hard work and principled stances and others ensured South Africa's return to the international fold and positioned South Africa as an actor committed to the values of multilateralism, global cooperation and solidarity, the promotion of peace and security, and democratization of South Africa, and a peaceful resolution of conflicts. Comrade Aziz's leadership ensured that the reintegration of our country would be based into the international community, would be based on a strong leadership role of South Africa in terms of international institutional reform, to create a more equal global order, establishing new forms on the continent and norms on the continent with reference to democratization, the respect of human rights and humanitarian intervention and the spirit of Pan-Africanism, putting Africa at the center of the country's foreign policy. Our country's resurgent leadership role on the global stage is something that would have pleased Comrade Aziz immensely, for it is this role that he, Comrade Thabo Mbeki, Comrade Nkosazana, Dlamini Zuma, and many others worked hard to achieve.
Aziz Pahad's son gave a moving tribute to his father.
I'm so very grateful that COVID notwithstanding, he got to meet and play with his granddaughter, Bethan, on all of our visits, and that she got to spend time with her papa and her much beloved grandma, Angela. Although he didn't always express it, his family, the massed ranks of the Pahads, the Pareks, especially Mayer, and the Dadabais meant the world to him. This is why I should work on a tablet. Sorry. Although he suffered untimely losses, his mother, Amina, in the year I was born, Anne-Marie Davis, just as they were planning their return to South Africa together in 1991, my stepsister Zinzi, and the many comrades and friends who fell in struggle or died in exile before they could come home. His joy in life always stayed strong and unbroken. And in Angela, he was so incredibly lucky to find the wonderful happiness and true partnership that filled his life in these last decades. I know it's time to conclude before Director of Ceremonies number 2 comes and pulls me off. I know time's tight, but to conclude, I want to paraphrase the slogan we use in the international trade union movement to mark Workers' Memorial Day annually. It's right that we mourn and remember our dead, and in that today here I include both my father and my incredible uncles Aesop and Zunaid, who have passed this summer. But it's also vital that we take inspiration from their lives and their politics to recommit ourselves to the continued fight for the living. So it's with deep, deep pride that I say, Hambagakle Dad, but also in the time-worn slogan of our Mozambican comrades, a luta continua. And because no Pahad ever really lets an argument go, and he would never let me get the last word in when he was here, you were still wrong in your analysis on Zimbabwe. You still owe Kabed Naidu that bottle of Jameson's, and now I'm going to have to buy it for him because you've left us far too soon.